Good morning. This is Nicholas here from Gandora Gaming, and I'm bringing you my Scarclaw Tri-Brigade deck profile post-Power Elements 2022. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Anyway, let's get started into the deck profile. First things first, make sure I have this correct. We play one Visa Starfrost. Now, Visa Starfrost is a one-of. He's actually a pretty alright card. He's waiting for a new guy to get it home, really. Dinosaurs tried playing him, but he was a little too bricky. And he's a really interesting card. He's a level 7 tuner monster, which is really cool. So you can make synchros really easy with him. Because he's level 7. I don't know, is he 6 or 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, he's a 6. Holy shit, that just changed everything. We can make Baron in his deck. Well, I'm going to update this because I don't have a Baron. But when I do get a Baron, he can help you make Baron. So that's good to know. He only really had success so far in dinosaur builds because he could pop a baby, special summon himself. And I thought he was a 7 and he had a 3. But it does make sense now that he's a tuner level 6. Meaning that you can just summon him and get a 4, which is actually pretty cool. And basically that's all he does, really. He's just a free summon by destroying a card. He's part of the combo. He's part of the lore. So that's what we play him as a one-of. He's alright. I know there's more and more supports sitting around him. He's basically our Fallen Albaz for the next several archetypes, because there's like several new archetypes that are going to be based around this guy. So that's going to be really interesting. If you know the lore, you know the lore. But right now, this is the first archetype that's based around Visa Starfrost. Alright, let's go on to the next monsters. Next we play the best Scareclaw. Scareclaw Reinhardt. This guy is amazing. This guy is really, really strong. He's a 1500, 21 defense, which matters because they all attack in defense position, like super heavy samurais. But basically his gimmick is that you can special summon this guy if you control a Scareclaw monster. And then I believe he adds a Scareclaw spell, a trap, which is pretty good. Basically, he just once per turn in this card is special summoned, add a Scareclaw spell or trap, which is good. He adds your field spell. That's all you really need now. He adds whatever spell or trap you need at the time. And they're all like Crusaders. So, you know how Crusaders, especially to the link zone, all the links point to? Well, they special summon, except you just have to control a Scareclaw, which is really interesting. Also, they want to attack and defense. It's real weird. But yeah, let's go on to the next monsters. Next we play Scareclaw. What is his name? Acid? No, Arco. A-C-R-O. Whatever. We played 2 of him. We played 2. I'll just get to it. We just played 2 of all the other Scareclaws. I'll explain what they all do. They all have the same similar effects. Basically, they all have the effect if you control a Scareclaw, you special them onto the field once per turn. And then they all give bonuses to your Link monsters. I believe he gives he gives your Link monster plus, is it 1200 or 600? It's plus 300. It's even worse. So he's plus 300 for every Scareclaw in defense position, which is alright. He, I think, gives you double attacks. Let's see. Yep, he attacks as many times as you have defense position Scareclaws on the field. So multiple attacks, gains 300 for each defense monster. And then he has the effect where I believe he's piercing damage. Yeah, he's piercing damage. I don't think Reinhardt does anything if he's in defense mode. Oh, if 3 or more defense... Oh, you draw 1 card. He has the effect where if you have 3 other defense position monsters, you draw 1. Alright, so he's a draw 1. Piercing damage. So piercing damage draws 1. Multiple attacks. Plus 300 for each one. Not bad. It's a decent combo. But the archetype definitely needs more. That is why we're supplementing this deck. And it's also why we're not playing 3-3-3-3, because we need room for hand traps. But if you want a more budget build, you just max out on all the Scareclaw monsters. And maybe 2 Visa Starfrost. Anyway, next let's go on to the other monsters. Now we play 3 Rescue Cat. It's a beast deck. You gotta play this card. They're all level 3s. Because he's a 6, it helps you actually go with the 9s. So you can go with the 9s and 4s and 7s and 8s, which is actually pretty cool. So you go into a lot of different synchros. But this build does not have any synchros in it. We'll be putting synchros in. The extra deck is so full, you probably don't have room for synchros. But putting a Baron would not hurt. And let's just go over Rescue Cat. Rescue Cat is stupid. You tribute it, spell it with 2, but it affects it again. It doesn't matter because you use them as link material. It's a 1-card link 2, which is pretty good, especially since every Scareclaw monster is already a link 3. So imagine how much material you get with just one Rescue Cat. Not to mention, we're also playing Tri-Brigade, the other mainstay of this archetype. We play 3 Fractal, everyone knows the ratios, 3 Kit, 3 Nerval, and 2 Caress. That sounds like the right ratio. So basically, I'll explain how all the Tri-Brigades work if you've never actually seen this archetype, but to me, that would be the biggest shock that you know Scareclaw before you know Tri-Brigade. But basically, Tri-Brigade has a couple effects. One, their whole gimmicks that are Beast Warriors and Wing Beasts and a whole bunch of different types of beast archetypes that all have the effect where if they're sent to grave, they have an effect. For example, Fractal, when he's sent to grave, sends another Tri-Brigade, which is usually said Kit, and then Kit sends Nerval, and then Nerval adds the hand Caress, and then Caress special summons itself. And there you go, that's the whole Tri-Brigade combo right there. And basically, the whole point is they want to dump a whole bunch of Beast Warriors and Wing Beasts into the graveyard in order to banish them, in order to quick link summon, which is actually pretty cool. So they all have the effect where they're on field, to banish Beast or Wing Beast or any type of beast and monster in your grave to then what's called link summon using up to the number of cards banish, which is pretty interesting. And the reason why this deck was meta for a while. And now finally for our last monsters, it's our hand traps. We play 3 Ghosts and Snow Rabbit and 3 Effect Veiler. In this new format, you probably want to switch this out for DD Crow, but I think Veiler is just fine. This is a cheap man's deck. That's a cheap man's build right there. This deck would probably cost you around 40 bucks, which is actually pretty sweet. Let's go on to the spells now. Now, if you notice, this is a very high monster count. That you don't want to be drawing spells and traps in your hand. Well, you do, because they're not bad, but this deck is very monster heavy. And like I said, all the Scareclaws are 1-card starters, or 1-card link summons now, which is really good, because their boss monster is insane. He just needs to be broken a little bit more. Alright, let's keep going to spells and traps. So now it's time for our spells and traps. First things first, we play 3 Primal Planet Richabina? I have no idea how to pronounce that last part of its name, but this is the field spell of the deck. It's what makes the deck whole work. Basically, when this card's activated, you get to add a Scareclaw monster from your deck to your hand, which is pretty good. And then it has the effect where for every defense position Scareclaw you control, you get to lower your opponent's attack and defense by, I believe, 100. Yeah, it's 100. I wish these stat lowerings were a lot more. As you can see, this deck's kind of like Crusader, where it wants to OTK. Or it kind of wants to floodgate your opponent and then OTK him on turn 3. So, I don't know. I wish that stat restriction was lower. I wish you can get them to like 500 for every Scareclaw. So they're all losing like 1,500 defense and attack. That would be pretty sweet, but sadly that is not the case. It also has the effect that if you control 3 or more defense position Scareclaw monsters, you can pop a card on your opponent's field, which is pretty good. You only activate the effect of all these once per turn, except the continuous effect, because lowering is constant. Next we play the 1 Terraforming, because like I said, this is a 1-card starter, because we add a Scareclaw, and all the Scareclaws are 1-card starters now, because the new Link monster, that's a bobblehead, which we'll get into that. Rhoda, because it's a 1-card starter. 2 Tenki, because that's a 1-card starter. And 2 Arrival, which is Extender, it's the reborn of the deck. Basically, you target 1 Scareclaw into your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, and if a Scareclaw Link monster will be destroyed by card effects, you can banish this card instead. And it's basically the Crusader equivalent of like their level 3 monster that's a tuner that can banish itself to protect your links. And also the equivalent of the Reborn. It's just a Reborn and Protect. It's just really strong. And then finally, 1 Revolt and 1 Slash. I'll get into what both these do. So Tri-Brigade Revolt, if you don't know, which I'll be surprised, allows you to link summon on your opponent's turn by reborning Tri-Brigade monsters from your banish zone, which is really, really strong. So basically, you reborn a whole bunch of Beast Warrior monsters onto your opponent's field, quick link summon on their turn, and then you get all the effects when they're sent to grave, which is like a +5. This card's stupid. Next, you play Scareclaw Slash, and this card, I'll be surprised if you actually knew what it did. Basically, what it does is this is the card that allows all your Scareclaws to attack in defense position, because the Babushka effect on Tryhard is both players. So the reason why this whole deck is cool is because this is like basically a new age Babushka deck, which is kind of interesting. Babushka is one of my favorite XYZs. And basically what this card does is, hey, all your monsters can now attack now in defense position. So if you notice their stats from earlier, besides Scareclaw Reinhardt over here, their attack is 0, and their defense is high as hell. Well, except this guy. This guy, 1300. What are you doing with yourself? I guess he's 17. I ain't that much better. But as you can see, their defense is higher than their attack, meaning they want to attack in defense position, which is kind of cool. This trap does allow you to attack in attack position as well. So, for example, Visa Starfrost, if he's in defense position, you can apply, and also, yeah, just Visa Starfrost in particular, because he's the only one that has a higher attack than his defense. Basically, this card says you apply the attack to whichever is higher. So that means if he's in defense mode and he can attack, you're applying his attack anyway, so he's 2100, which is pretty interesting. Does it only allow Scareclaws or also Visa Starfrost? That's another question. Or Visa Starfrost. So yeah, Visa Starfrost can't attack in defense because of this card, which is really interesting. Not to mention, it also has the effect where you can basically tribute a Scareclaw you control to ultimately negate a card on your opponent's field. Negate send this card to grave, negate the monster effect, which is really strong. It's just a really cool and interesting card. It's continuous trap, so it lingers on field. You want to get to this as early as possible. You don't want to be breaking on too many of these. Anyway, that is the deck profile. Let's go on to the extra deck. All right, so now let's go over the extra deck. First, we play 2 Tryhard. This guy's really amazing. He's your Babushka. Basically says he's unaffected by defense position monsters, and while he's on the field, all monsters your opponent controls go in defense position. So that's pretty good. You have a Baron on your opponent's field, doesn't matter. He's unaffected, doesn't care. Also, when he is link summoned, I believe he adds a, what's it called? He adds a Scareclaw monster, which is also really good. He also has the effect of all monsters this card on the field. Yeah, wait. I have to just zoom in on his effect here. Oh, he's a reborn. That's what I was trying to remember. So he's a reborn for Scareclaw monsters that are level 3 or lower, which is really good. So when you tribute off the trap card, you can then reborn them during either player's turn with him and have a quick effect reborn, which is really, really swell. Next, you play 2 Ominous. He's your other boss monster. He's a link 4. You summon him off the Tri-Brigades. When he's summoned, he basically banishes a card for every time a wing beast or a beast is summoned. He just quick effect banishes. And Melfi's, it's crazy because every time a Melfi triggers, this guy quick effect banishes once per turn, which is nuts. Also, he floats. All the Tri-Brigades float. This guy is the least important. It's Silver Surfer. He barely ever make this guy. He did play 1 Rugal. I have 2 in here because I'm actually missing the link 1. I do have it. I have 2 of them. I lost the 3rd one. Don't ask me why. But this card's cool. When this card is link summoned, it doesn't really do much. But when it's sent to grave, it adds the Tri-Brigade trap, which is pretty good. We also play 2 Flaget. Flaget is important. Flaget is amazing. When this card is basically made, you special summon a level 4 wing beast or whatever from your hand, which is awesome. And it's just a link 2. It's really, really strong. Also, when it's sent to grave, you get to draw a card and then place a card at the bottom of your deck, which comes up. And then finally, our main event himself, Tryhard. Now, Tryhard should be a 3. There should be a 3rd one. But this guy's still pretty broken. Basically, what he does is that he is a free link extender. He makes the whole deck a 1-card link 3. which is pretty swell. When this guy's link summoned, you get to add the field spell, or I guess any spell and trap. But honestly, you're just adding the field spell most likely. If you don't already have it, you're gonna add the field spell. And yeah, he's just stupid. He's just a really, really strong card. And also he has effect where he's a quick effect. Well, not a quick effect, but he has effect once per duel. You can reborn him, which is actually pretty swell. So once per duel, you can reborn him for the graveyard. So the idea is that with him, I believe he adds a Scareclaw. Is it monster or spell trap? This card is link summoned. Add one. Yeah, he adds the field spell exactly. And then yeah, so the idea is that you can tribute this guy with Visa Starfrost that you added to hand, and then you can just reborn him for another link material, which is pretty swell. And then finally, for our other package, we play Zeus. You all know what Zeus does. This guy, who's pretty new, and Nightmare Shark. So Nightmare Shark, the whole reason why we play him is because he attacks directly to make a Zeus with him. That's pretty strong. Also, he has 2,000 defense, so hey, that's kind of decent. And 2,000 attack, that ain't bad either. Now, Ashura King, I just want to put him in a deck. He's another new card from Power of the Elements. Both this guy, Scareclaw Lightheart, and Ashura King are both new cards. Basically, what he says is that you can make it with 3 or plus level 3 monsters, and then he's a quick effect monster negate, which is really strong. Also, he attacks all monsters your opponent controls, which for 2,100, that's not bad. Now, the issue with that is that because we're playing Scareclaw, he's going to be in defense position if we control the link. But if we don't have access to our XYZ, we can make him in defense position, and he's just a monster negate, which is pretty strong. And then we just reborn with Tryhard. I haven't tested it yet, but I think it's pretty decent. I think it's a pretty cool combo. But ultimately, we definitely need a third Trying Heart, and if you really want to play this deck competitively, I highly, highly recommend you get a level 9 and a level 10 Synchro. Most likely Baron, and if you want a Floodgate Synchro, I guess I'll get the virtual one. You know, the guy who, like, every time a card will be sent to grave from field, it banishes it, which is just pretty strong. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. I hope you like this. I think this guy's stupid looking. He's awesome. Look at that artwork. This is nuts. But yeah, his effect is really, really strong and cool. And this guy is a link starter now, which I can't wait to get the third one today. Actually, I lost my second one. I lost it. I have no idea what I did with it, but I lost it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. You all take care. Don't do anything stupid. Bye bye.